Did I witness a spirit leave the place they died at? When I was around 11, my father and I moved from Spain to Germany into an apartment. I still live in it. That previously belonged to an old man who apparently died in his sleep. I only learned this later though. In my room there was a huge pitch black shadow in the corner at night. My room did feel eerie, but I thought it was due to my feelings. I was kind of depressed at that time due to moving from a different country and other things. But it took some months or years that I started to wonder why that shadow was there in the first place. Nothing in my room could have casted that kind of deep black shadow in only one corner of the room. One day, after showering, I entered my room only to see a bright flash of light from the corner into the room. It was really brief, but scared me so much I slept on the couch in the living room that night. After that, the shadow was gone forever. My father has passed since then. I have been living here for almost 16 years and I never saw that black shadow dot again, nor did the room feel eerie anymore. Makes me wonder if that old man died right there and his spirit didn't leave until that one night. Everything began as I was studying at a friend's house. Everything was okay and we ended up after a few hours just chatting. It was getting late and she proposed that I stay for the night. So I end up sleeping at her house. We decide after studying to watch an horror movie, Annabelle, such a masterpiece. Once the movie ends, I decide to go to the bathroom. On my way back to her room, I see coming up the stairs, a black shadow crawling like an animal that run in front of me and get in the first room. A little bit curious, I turn on the light to see what it is, thinking it's one of her cats. I then remember as I enter the empty room that she doesn't have a cat of that color. That gave me shivers and I got back to her room fast. She sees my face and asks what's going on. I tell her what just happened and her face goes dark as she asks me, "So, you saw it too?" Then she explains that some of her friends that stayed during the night saw the exact same thing as me and that she saw it too. I don't know what it was and I'm not scared, just so curious. Like, what the hell was that? Shadow person seems to show my grandma, cousin, and dog's deaths. This was over 5 years ago now, but it has stayed fresh in my mind since the day it happened. I live in Huntington, West Virginia, and up until this point I hadn't had many encounters with strange things, but the things I did have encounters with have stuck with me, and this is one of them. I was out late one night around 2 a.m. walking my dog who was named Link. We walked around the block and like normal we cut up the alleyway near my home. As we were walking, the motion sensor light that my neighbors had installed kicked on. As we got closer to my home, Link turned around and put himself between me and something. I turned around and squinted looking down the alleyway and I saw a man just standing there. I couldn't make out any features and he was dark as the night around him. I yelled at him asking if he needed something and no response. At this point Link is in full guard mode, growling and snarling at the guy. I pulled in Link's leash and tried to force him to move and he wouldn't budge. After a moment the guy started coming towards us. Once again I spoke up telling him to back off, my dog will hurt him. He became faster. As he neared the light of my neighbor's house it kicked on, and this guy seemed to absorb the light. No face, no hair, nothing. And as he stepped to where Link could get him he vanished. Link turned tail and ran to our front door and we went inside. I stayed up that whole night watching and listening. The next morning I removed waking up and going to the bathroom. While using the bathroom I heard my grandma playing as Day my name. I called her and asked if she was okay and she was happy to hear from me but assured me she's okay. About 2 months later she passed away. Congestive heart failure. The very next year around the anniversary of her death Link died from kidney failure. The year after my cousin died of suicide. What makes me think this was to tell me they were going to pass is that not only was I with linked at night, but when this thing disappeared it was right level with the garage door of my neighbors, which is how my cousin hung himself.